there has to be some common sense.
Yes, sir. They have the car stopped at 10th and Ranch, Michael Byler.
We still don't know who pulled the trigger.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. I'm your host, Bill Cannon, retired NYPD homicide sergeant. Folks, I have some sad news today. I just received it maybe about a half hour, 40 minutes ago. I don't have an exact time, and I do not have this 100% confirmed, but I'm taking it from, I got it from one of our YouTube members or fans or subscribers on YouTube. And it is on the Adventures with Purpose, a Facebook site. And apparently at about 5:30-ish, I don't have the exact time, Adventures with Purpose recovered Kiely Rodni inside her 2013 Honda CRV, upside down, and I believe it was about 14 feet of water. Very sad. We've all been following this case from the very beginning. Tragic. I mean, think of all the rumors and all the false information. And if this turns out to be true, um, it dispels all of a lot of the rumors. I'm not saying all the rumors, but a lot of the rumors that we were hearing about this case. And now, apparently this was a 16-year-old girl who had been drinking and she got in a car. And apparently, I'm not 100% confirming this right now, but she wound up in 14 feet of water and drowned. The procedure for this now, of course, Adventures with Purpose has to call the police because that Honda CRV is a crime scene. All right. So we don't know what the condition of the inside of the vehicle is, if that'll give us any clues as to what occurred on the night that she wound up going into that water. Um, the medical examiner will undoubtedly respond to the scene and review the crime scene also. Obviously, the police department will have to have their own divers to go down and to recover this vehicle. There is a protocol, but realize that this Honda CRV, the 2013 Honda CRV, is a crime scene. If you're just tuning in now, apparently 16-year-old Kiely Rodni, her body and her CRV was recovered in about 14 feet of water. I don't have the exact spot, but just we have been told that Adventures with Purpose recovered it approximately, I would say at this point, 45 minutes ago. And as I said, I don't have confirmation. There's no pictures yet. I don't see anything, any news crews out there yet. If anyone in the on YouTube or in any is watching and they say there's live news, I'd like to know that. It's a horrible situation. It's we all were hoping that in some way, in some fashion, that Kiely Rodni, 16 years old, would be recovered and she'd be alive. That something else happened. Based on all the facts in this case early on, once I was able to decipher some of the different facts and circumstances, I thought, and myself and Phil, my partner Phil, and additionally Duty Ron, who I had several conversations with, we had some. We predicted that this, in fact, was going to be an accident, that she perhaps had gone into the lake or some ravine, and just by the facts and circumstances. And I'm not an "I told you so" guy, but I just, there was so much. There was so much misinformation in this case. Even the police department, the they put out some information early that this was based on some facts and circumstances that this was possibly an abduction. And again, that turned out to be false, and a lot of false information. And that's why we were talking about Marilyn Manetta. Yes, hello, Bill. This is tragic that for the family. It's 100% tragic. I feel for the mother whose pain on her face and pain in her body, and the fact that she stayed with this so long and had so much hope that her daughter would be recovered alive. On the screen is the mom, and here's another picture. The pain in her face. She stayed with it. She was a real tough mom, the kind of mom that everyone would want their mother to be if it's tragedy. And she hung in there, and horrifically, the only solace we can have is that she does have closure now. She does know what happened to her daughter. All the facts and circumstances up until she got in that car and drove that night. We don't know. Perhaps someone can tell us that. Perhaps the police department has information about that. Maybe they have some people that told them she drove away at some point by herself. We don't know that for a fact. We don't know that right now. We don't know anything right now except that Adventures with Purpose apparently has recovered the 2013 Honda CRV belonging to Kiely Rodni, and apparently she was inside the vehicle, of course, deceased. She's been in there. If this happened right after that party, it's 14 to 15 days right now. So, again, a horrific situation. We pray for the family. We pray for the friends of people that loved her. Super tragic. Lieutenant Peter Pranzo. Thank you, Lieutenant Pete. You're one of the voices of reason in the chat, of course. Yes, looks like she ran off the road unless an autopsy discloses foul play before she went into the water. Yeah, Lieutenant Pete. That's why, as you know, Lieutenant Pete, the Honda CRV is a crime scene. They'll take that out of the water very gingerly, and they'll go through the vehicle. The medical examiner and the detective investigators from the department, the Presser Creek, reservoir. We don't know exactly what body of water she went into, but the police department, the sheriff's department that is in charge of this investigation, they'll handle this gingerly because there's going to be a lot of questions. I mean, think of all, even now, think of all the internet rumors. When we talk about a lot of, guys, not that I'm not criticizing any YouTube content creators by name, but the craziness of all the rumors and no facts, that they absolutely make things up. And there's nothing worse than someone that's, if you consider yourself to be a purveyor of truth and giving out information, you have no business making stuff up. That's not true. And that's all that is. It's a lie. If you make up rumors, it's a total lie. Macadeli, regardless of what happened, this is absolutely heartbreaking. Many, many prayers to our family and friends. 100%. 100%. Jim Davis, rest in peace, sweet, precious angel. We all mirror those thoughts. Karen B, I wish her friend could have stopped her from driving. Don't we all? But something, you can't undo things. Something here happened. It's horrific. We can't undo what happened. Jennifer Nobles, I don't think I could handle Lindsay's response to the tragic loss of her child. Poor mama. Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than that. The loss of a child. Shalane Thomason, I bet her friend is having regrets for not helping her. Iris Hewlett, the phone should then be in the car. Very possible that they will recover the phone inside that vehicle. Remember, I said the Honda CRV is a crime scene. They'll treat it as such. Hopefully, they will recover the phone. Adventures with Purpose has recovered vehicles and recovered bodies after 20 years or more. So although there would be this body will be in certain condition from being inside the vehicle for 14 to 15 days. They've seen a lot worse. All we can say is that Mark Pippin, all we know is they recovered her inside her car, upside down in 14 feet of water, just a few hundred yards from the campsite. So, Mark Pippin, thank you for that information. I don't have that confirmed yet. Um, all I got was from the Adventures with Purpose Facebook website was that they did recover her in 14 feet of water inside her Honda CRV. There was no further information. We'll get much further information from, of course, the press covering this, and of course, the police department. I'm sure will make a statement. I'm sure they will probably have a press conference. Uh, I know a lot of you guys. It's very real to follow a case like this, and you become um, invested in it. You become invested in this case, and you become when you mourn for this person just like you're a family member because you followed it, and you know that this is not just a story. This is not just something you read in a book. This is real. This is a real person. A real person died. A 16-year-old girl that has Wendy McDonald. Yes, they did find her. They found her in her CRV in about 14 feet of water. The vehicle was overturned. As far as we know right now, unconfirmed, I'm getting this also from listeners that um, it wasn't far from where the party was, from where the campsite was. So uh, you realize now how important it is. Uh, Sedona skies. I never understood law enforcement abduction possibility. I would think if a car was left behind, an abduction would be possible. Look, we can all now say, "Oh, I knew this and I knew that. I thought this and I thought that." But law enforcement has to go with the very best information they have, all right? Go in the direction, and I spoke about it numerous times covering this case. They have to go where the evidence leads them, all right? And that's that they go toward. And luckily, they had over 300 people searching. They searched, they eliminated the possibilities on land. Now, with Adventures with Purpose, they had to eliminate all of the possibilities in the water. And look what happened. Today at about 5:30ish, 5:20 p.m., they found the CRV upside down in 14 feet of water, and Kiely Rodni was inside the vehicle. So, I mean, we can all say, "Oh, I knew that. I knew this." No, there was so many, I hate to say, but there's so many bullshit theories that people actually, it takes on a life of its own because people start believing their own nonsense, and they start spreading rumors both on among their friends and on the internet. And the internet, as you guys know, the information just goes out like wildfire. It's like a fire out of control. And it didn't help that early in this investigation, the police department said it looked like it was an abduction. Uh, that didn't help. That also spread rumors. Uh, and that didn't help, the internet, all the content creators saying, "Oh, it was an abduction."
But I don't.
Folks, these guys are they're amazing, man. They're doing God's work, right? Really, I talk about EquiSearch, Midwest EquiSearch, Texas. They are doing God's work. Look at what these guys did. They did something that the police department couldn't do. And I'm not criticizing the police department, but the expertise that these guys have, they have in the past since 2019, they have 23 recoveries, and now unfortunately 24. They've recovered 24 bodies, 24 vehicles in water that the police department and others couldn't find. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, thank God they have They have these people, just incredible. Um, Layla McVary, I feel she may have been going at speed or hit her front tire first to cause her motor to flip upside down. Can't believe police misled this. It's only 14 feet down. Absolutely atrocious. Um, Adventures with purpose. I don't think you can criticize anyone at this point. Uh, 14 feet of water is still submerged. You're not going to see a vehicle when it's submerged in 14 feet of water. We don't know how she wound up in there. You know, did she ever even hit her brakes before she realized she was going towards the water? As you know, alcohol and driving do not mix, and especially when you're 16, double rainbows. I'm disgusted with content creators utilizing true crime case victims as cash cows, so to speak. You're the real deal, Detective Sergeant Bill. Well, thank you very much. Guys, I'm just saying that, you got to follow the evidence. These guys were brilliant. They didn't just go there and just throw their boat in the water and say, "Oh, we're gonna start searching." They, of course, interviewed the police, and they were advised by the police. They did a methodical search based on the evidence that they received from the police, and that's why they were able to fine tune where they were searching. And as you noticed, I believe they started Friday morning. It's Sunday, isn't it? Sunday at 5:30, 5:20. So they had been working tirelessly for 3 days, But just to touch upon all of the rumors and all of the other nonsense, that's why you can't believe stuff that goes out on the internet, on YouTube. That some of these content creators actually invent shit, and I've heard some of them, and they've invented stories around it, and that's pathetic. To me, it's pathetic. All right. Um, London girl. Hi, Kim Allison. This is so sad for Kylie's family and her friends, and just send out positivity their way. Guys, you say if you believe in God, you believe in higher power, say a prayer for her, say a prayer for her family. What they're going through is unimaginable, right? Mark Pippin, she's a keeper, 15 years. She's sad for her family right now, as we all are. She hates being right. I don't know who exactly you're referring to, Mark Pippin, but uh, after all, hi, everyone saw the caption, really said DUI kills. Yeah, I mean, Willis Pony, good to see you back, Willis Pony. God bless law enforcement and Adventures with Purpose. Adventures with Purpose, just like, and I always have to mention Equus Search. They're unbelievable, man. The closure they've given to families, the work that they do, it's God's work. That's the only way you can explain it. So, guys, from what happens now, what happens now, obviously, is that the police respond to the scene, right? I would imagine some divers from the police should go into the water and observe the crime scene, because that van, in fact, is a crime scene. And we don't know what precipitated her getting in her 2013 Honda CRV and driving off. We have no idea what precipitated that. So that's why the police department needs to take a look at the crime scene as it sits underwater, and then at some point they'll pull the van out of the water, and the medical examiner will recover the body. And that's not the end of the investigation, of course. They'll take the van to a location where they will go through it, and they'll look through it, and they'll also, a big part of any death investigation is the autopsy, and they will do a thorough autopsy on Kylie, and which includes toxicology, which will tell us how much alcohol she had in her system, and if in fact she had any drugs in her system. So all of those things are part of this investigation. After all, Sergeant Bill and Detective Phil had great intuition. I'm sure they are heartbroken like us and wish they weren't right. After all, you hit it right on the head. I wish I wasn't right. I wish she'd run away from home and she was still alive. I really wish that. But something, I'm pragmatic and I go with where the evidence takes me. And look, I never stepped foot on the scene there, but there were facts and circumstances that indicated a certain thing, and the evidence pointed toward a certain thing. Look, unfortunately, that other couple, Juan Zavala and Janelle Pantoja, very close to this, same thing, same death befell them. They crashed into a ravine and they found their bodies. So there was no foul play. There was no connection between this case and that case. But that's people love the drama. Oh, there's a serial killer out. No, there isn't. Two cars crashed, and that maybe makes people that follow this case feel a little bit more of closure. Also, everyone was thinking, oh, this case is she was abducted, which was said early on in this case, and actually by the police department. And I just didn't understand, based on the facts as I knew them, the facts and the circumstances and the evidence, how anyone was saying this is an abduction. There was absolutely no evidence of that, no evidence that it was an abduction, but yet they put that out there very early. Milwaukee Civilian, I find it intriguing that private organizations such as Adventures with Purpose and EquiSearch, as opposed to government agencies, are finding so many people. Well, Milwaukee Civilian, one of the reasons is that they have the resources. EquiSearch and Adventures with Purpose, I believe Adventures with Purpose, they actually are a for-profit organization, which is fine. They have millions of followers on YouTube, and their company is taking in millions of dollars. So they have the finest equipment, they have the finest people working for them, and this is all they do. Police departments have limited budgets. The expertise of divers aren't divers full time. They do other things. They're usually detectives. So this organization, as well as EquiSearch, they're brilliant at what they do because that's all they do. And they're focused on it. They're laser focused on it. Whereas police departments have certain restraints. Even a police department like this, how many dives would they actually do a year? Even NYPD, the biggest police department in the world, how many actual dives do they do a year for the recovery of bodies or vehicles with bodies inside them? I'd like to know that. But this organization, Adventures with Purpose, in 2 years since 2019, recovered, now it's 24 bodies. Pretty damn impressive, right? So they have no restraints on them. And they have the resources, which of course you need good equipment. You need the best in sonar. You see that drone he threw up in the air? I was like, whoa, where did that thing go? It just took off. It was amazing, Chris Corey, yes, they did find her at about, and I don't have a specific time, at about 5:30 p.m. this evening. They recovered her Honda CRV, the 2013 silver Honda CRV, in 14 feet of water, and she was inside the vehicle. We say that with the greatest respect and really a lot of sorrow. Here's the picture of Kiely Rodni, and 16 years old, tragic. She had graduated high school early. She was all set to go to college. That's her silver 2013 Honda CRV, which again they found in 14 feet of water, and Kiely was inside that vehicle. That the one guy on the left is Doug Bishop. I believe he's one of the main divers, one of the head guys for Adventures with Purpose. And we saw the interview with him earlier where he indicated he hoped that he didn't find her, that he hoped he could clear all these bodies of water, which he meant he hoped he could search them and there was nothing there. So he could eliminate these bodies of water as the potentiality that they would find her vehicle and her body inside. And unfortunately, they found the vehicle at about 5:30, and that's a rough time estimate. At about 5:30, in 14 feet of water. We don't have all of the details right now because it's just breaking. Really, so it's about a little more than an hour old. But these guys are brilliant. They did an amazing, amazing job. The picture you're seeing on screen right now is not this recovery. It's a recovery they had at another location. And as I'll repeat, in since 2019, they've recovered 24 bodies in different waters. Some of them, the case is as old as 20 years old. So in essence, the car was underneath the water for 20 years old. On the screen there is some of their divers. Just an amazing, amazing organization. Um, helping police, helping police in these cases. Just totally incredible. Mary Williamson, that is a good question, Bill. Not judging, just wondering why didn't the police send the police did send scuba divers down there. I don't think um, the police have the level of expertise that these guys have. They did send. I don't know if they searched the same areas. There was at least 3 or 4 bodies of water that needed to be searched. So I don't know if the police, in fact, have the same expertise, but I know very, very early on in the investigation, scuba divers went into the water. Um, but these guys are incredible. This is this is the A team. Uh, stars above, exactly, Bill. I agree with you completely. They're amazing. God bless them. And in what one day they actually stars above. I believe they started searching on Friday, so they had. I think they had a total of 6. I think they had 6 searches. That would mean they had 3 boats going over different bodies. They have to use a methodical search pattern so that that you covered very specific areas, very specific searching. So they're helped by the fact that they have sonar, which can spot a big, a vehicle. So the sonar gives them whatever it gives them, a beep or warning that there's a big piece of metal down there. And so they had at least 6 searches. I don't know if the police had that type of equipment or anything as sophisticated as what Adventures with Purpose has, but just amazing. Just totally amazing. Sherlyn Schaffner, police aren't trained for this kind of SAR. Well, search and rescue. They are, but I don't know if they get the experience. If they get, these guys are the best. I mean, come on, let's face it, they're the best. S. Rodriguez, they had sonar equipment, absolutely, but so did the police. As I said, I'm not putting anyone down. Just these guys from Adventures with Purpose are the very best at what they do, and they do this all the time. Leslie Ionata Cronin. Apparently, I watched an interview with Doug Bishop, and he said that the water in these lakes the deepest point was anywhere from 55 to 57 feet, and he said the visibility actually was pretty good. So, in essence, it wasn't that murky. So they were able to see, but the most important thing really was the sonar. Lieutenant Pete, yes, agree, Bill. A job well done by a private company. Look, we can't get police departments can't get where they're like competing with these companies that are there to help them. Are you going to be jealous? Is anyone going to be jealous that these guys found Kiely Rodni? I don't think there's any room to be jealous. I think you thank them and say, guys, amazing, amazing job. Thank you so much. Joanne Batani, I can't even imagine a poor mother, but if it was that close to the party, Joanne, this situation is horrendous. There's nothing worse than this for a parent to lose a kid like this. But isn't it better that they found her than not found her? I mean, it's easy for me to say it's not my child, but what if another month went by, 2 months, 3, or a year? I mean, horrible, right? And the results are still the same, but closure is something that, I look, we can't even imagine this. That's, just it's horrific. I think of a mother's face there, a mother that was there every minute of this horrendous situation, talking to the press, cooperating with the police, trying to get kids to cooperate, to give information if they saw anything. Just, we'll always remember that face, and we'll always remember, the face of a daughter, 16 years old, full of love, full of hope for her future, graduated high school early, was ready to go to college, and look, all it takes is one mistake in life. One bad, I used to say door number one, door number two, or door number three, You pick one or two, you're all right. You pick three, your whole life's over. And we've all been there. We've all been confronted with making good decisions and making bad decisions. And we've all done both. And unfortunately, this decision was a real bad decision, which led to her crashing her car into the water and her death, of course. Um, some of you guys have asked questions like, "Oh, what about the phone?" And one of the things I just want to let everyone know that some of the other content creators won't even think about is that this Honda CRV is a crime scene. All right, they will search the vehicle, of course. Will they be looking for this phone? Of course. Will they be looking for other signs inside the vehicle of foul play? Of course. All right. And part of the whole investigation, in addition to this, is there will be an autopsy on Kiely, which will come out with cause of death. And they will also do a toxicology report, which will determine the alcohol level she had in her body, as well as any drugs that she may have ingested. So all of that is extremely important. And those are the things. Look, when the police arrive on the scene, they have work to do. You know, they have to they have to go through the vehicle. They really have to take control at that point of the investigation, because Adventures with Purpose, they're not the police, but they did an unbelievable job in recovering this vehicle. Have courage and be kind. When Adventures with Purpose first started, there was some egos that had to deal with. Look, anyone that's ever worked with the police on any level knows there's huge egos. There's huge egos on police departments between different units. Different units on the police department are always trying to best or outdo each other. It's the nature of the beast. And that becomes self-defeating. It doesn't help you to be competitive in that way. You should all work together. Tracy Baldwin, I wish people would think of it as Adventures with Purpose works with law enforcement, not instead. Tracy, that's a great way to think of it. You're right. I wish they would work with law enforcement instead of law enforcement. You're right. For some reason, law enforcement always has that competitive nature. I hope that they do appreciate the work that Adventures with Purpose does. Truth Exposed. People with loot donate equipment to them. I remember when they started out, they do great work. Undoubtedly, they're proving it every day. So sad, prayers for all involved. Lost is not alone. That's the motto of EquiSearch. I love that motto. Dave Rader, amazing man, amazing organization, just incredible. Guys, this is Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. If you're not subscribed to us, please go on our YouTube. We're a podcast that is police oriented. I'm a retired NYPD homicide sergeant, and if you like podcast, Real Crime Podcast, from a police perspective, go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, give us a thumbs up. And if you want to help us out, we have a Patreon with 3 different levels, and we also have a YouTube channel memberships with 5 different levels. So that's Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. Thank you guys for all tuning in tonight. I mean, unfortunately, it's a sad situation. This case will still be, people always think that, oh, the car's recovered, the body's recovered, the case is over. For the police, the case has just started. They have to now do an investigation, and not just they've been doing an investigation all along, but continue the investigation. And, the old cliche, cross your T's and dot your I's, they have to do that. Very important. The family is going to want answers, and some of the answers they can get from the police, not all. Christine Michelle, just because the PD don't say much during these searches, everyone projects on them. Then we see some press conference where PD almost in tears. They care. They really do, and it haunts them. Christine Michelle, no one ever said that the police don't care. I did 27 years. There were cases that I brought home with me, that I really couldn't sleep till the case was solved, and I understand that about police. No one goes in policing to get rich. People go into policing because they care, and they want to do that kind of work. Stars above. So her friends were horrible for letting her drive drunk, and knowing she was drunk, she ran off the road into the water. Yeah, that's apparently what happened. That is apparently what happened. And double rainbows. Yes, sir. Whack a nerd. 100% Emily. However, this needs to be. I don't know what you're referring to. Cali WM. The water is murky when it is stirred up. When you dive, the silt gets stirred up. Callie, you sound like you're probably a diver yourself. And yes, the water gets stirred up. It's murky. But the sonar is what, in fact, found the vehicle. And then they dove in and they found what they knew to be the vehicle, the 2013 Honda CRV. And the confirmation, of course, was that Kiely was inside the vehicle. And then, of course, Adventures with Purpose, as I'm sure is their procedure, immediately notified the police. And I'm sure that scene right now is filled with all kinds of police personnel, all kinds of investigators, the medical examiner's office. Because as I said before, the investigation is not over. Sonia Mason, bless her mom's heart. Absolutely. As I said before, guys, prayers for the Rodni family, for her mother, her father, and anyone that was close to her, anyone that loves little Kiely, After all, most family members have a gut feeling they'd rather she be found to give her a proper farewell. Well, something, guys, I said earlier on, no one wanted to see this ending. Everyone, of course, wanted to see that she was recovered alive, that perhaps she ran away or something unexplained happened and she was found alive. But as in a lot of these situations, when it goes past a certain amount of days, there's not all that much hope that someone's going to be found alive. Katerina Forlova, Adventures with Purpose need our support. It's very hard on them also. 100%. When I saw the interview with Doug Bishop, he said right out, he goes, I hope I don't find her. He said, I hope I can clear the waterways, the area we're searching. Hope I can clear them. There's Doug Bishop on the right. Hope I can clear the waterways and say I didn't find anything. I didn't find her. But, they did. They did. And that's not her vehicle. This is a previous search they did, the picture you're seeing up on the screen. I just wanted to show you that as evidence of previous investigations they did. Um, yeah, he said in the interview that he hoped and prayed that he did not find her, but that he could clear the area. And I'm going to play a little bit. I played this before. I'm going to play a little bit more of his interview because it's really quite interesting. And you see what type of guys these guys are. Just amazing. And
but I don't want to find her.
an amazing organization. Willez Pony, thank you so much for the 1999 super chat. Adventures with Purpose sells a little tool that busts car windows and cuts seatbelts and show how to use it. If you ever become submerged in water, I don't know if anyone's ever tried to break a window of a car. It's not easy. I one time I had 4 guys in a stolen car, and they locked the car, and they wouldn't open the door. We tried to break the windows with a nightstick. It wouldn't break. It would not break. It was like the nightstick was bouncing off the window. And apparently a window has like a stress point, and you have to hit it at that point. And my anti-crime sergeant at the time punched it with his fist near the corner, and he shattered the window. But what Willez Pony is talking about is an instrument that will shatter any window you put against the window. And God forbid you ever became submerged in water. You cannot open the car doors. I don't know if you know that. The pressure on the outside is way more powerful than the pressure on the inside. So you cannot open the car doors. So this instrument is so important. And then people, when they're in a situation like that, they panic and they forget almost how to take off their seatbelt. So this same instrument will cut their seatbelt. Well, Les Pony, thank you so much for that. It's very excellent information. Excellent information, because people don't realize that. You guys have some interesting questions in the Sadie Kincaid, Ninja Mama. It was multiple people who asked them to come search, and they're not willing to disclose who asked them to come search because they can't. Guys, some of these organizations require, they won't show up unless the police ask them to respond. And EquiSearch is one of those. EquiSearch will not just show up on a scene and search for anyone unless they're requested, because that can cause great animosity between the police department and the organization that is going to help with the search. Tracy Baldwin, they are great guys, and they have so much respect in their process, talented all around with great videography as well. These guys are fantastic. There's no way, look, there's nothing bad you could say about them. There's nothing bad. There's only good. Mariposa Azul, when your car goes down water, you better have a glass breaker on the car keys. Adventures with Purpose have those items on their page. Yes, you can buy it from them. And I said, go ahead, please buy it from them. But if you don't get it from them, you can get that tool, I believe, at the Home Depot. But by all means, buy it from them. Paul Ward, my God, 16, far too young. Yeah, absolutely. Just horrific. Truth Exposed. See that trailer? Someone donated that. They used to be in a raggedy RV. Look, when I say that they're doing God's work, I mean just that. They are doing God's work. It's unbelievable. Who would do work like this? It's, when you talk about post-traumatic stress, what else is more inducing post-traumatic stress than recovering dead bodies and doing this type of work? But yet, on the same vein, it has to be tremendously satisfying that you brought closure to this girl's family. And amazing. Any of you folks that come into the show today and you're in the chat and you're not subscribed to Police Off the Cuff, just go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It's free to join the YouTube family of Police Off the Cuff. Real police. We are the real police that do this YouTube channel, Real Crime Stories. So join us, give us a thumbs up, and ring that bell. That's all I'm asking you to do. I see a lot of folks in the chat, names I don't recognize, and join. Join our family. We'd appreciate that. Connie Busi, Adventures with Purpose is an item to help people get out of a car. Yeah, I've been talking about that. It'll cut the seatbelt and break a window. Check it out. That's great. I had just spoken about that. Well, Les Pony, you put that on again. Thank you again for the 1999 super chat. Adventures with Purpose sells a little tool that busts car windows and cuts seatbelts and shows how to use it. You know something? If one life is saved through that information on this site today, it's worth it that you tuned in. Just so incredible, so incredible. Susan Donahue, prayers for the family and friends. We all echo that. I said that right at the outset of the case. Connie Busi, yes, they do. Pauline Buckles, they cleared the Boca Reservoir yesterday on to the Donner Lake. Apparently, Pauline, and I don't know the specific areas here, that it was only like very close to the campsite. So she didn't go in the water far away from where the party was. So we'll find all of that stuff out as this is reported by the police department. Boston J, police off the cuff, let us all pray for her soul. Jimmy Calendar's right-hand man. Everyone, this is awful. Boston J, I don't stop anyone from praying. You can pray on your own. You can pray with us. You can pray while you're in the chat here. We all wish the best, and we all. Well, as Pony, thank you so much for the $49.99. I love you, Supreme Commander, for your compassion. Thank you so much. Well, as Pony, not everyone knows my pseudonym, Supreme Commander, but thank you. You outed me. Guys, years ago when I was in anti-crime on the NYPD, jokingly to my cops, I would refer to myself, I was their boss, I would refer to myself as the Supreme Commander. So they would jokingly call me the Supreme Commander, and it stuck with me. And when they gave me a plaque when I left the unit and I moved on to the robbery unit in the detective squad, they gave me a plaque that said, "To the Supreme Commander, congratulations on your promotion." So I just think it's funny, and I told people about that. Double Rainbows question: can the medical examination and law enforcement determine if Kiely's drink was spiked with nefarious drugs? Double Rainbows, the toxicology is an in-depth chemical examination of what was inside the decedent's body. Can they determine exactly what chemical was in? If she was, we don't know. We don't know that her drink was spiked. If it in fact was, yes, they will be able to determine what type of drug was put in her drink. If that happened, we don't want to spread that rumor. We don't know that. Look, a 16-year-old girl, I don't know what she weighed. She looked thin. Maybe she weighed 120 pounds, 125 pounds. If that. A couple of drinks is enough to really get someone super drunk that is that light, doesn't have that, alcohol content is based on blood alcohol content, the amount of alcohol in your blood. And that'll be determined also, Iris Hewlett says it is terrible things happen every day. Hopefully there are lessons to be learned from all this that Kiely Rodni would want others to learn from. And God bless, man. I think that, we all try to teach our kids the right things to do, the right way to do things and the wrong way. And one thing I stressed to my kids was do not drink and drive. You can leave your car anywhere. You can call me at any time and I'll come and pick you up. Do not get in behind that wheel if you've been drinking. And I've been lucky. My one son's 30 years old. He's made it to that age without any incident. My other son's 27, and he's made it to his age without incident. And I hopefully that they listen to me, the Duke of Dunhurst, yes, at about 5:30 this evening, uh, we got a report that Adventures with Purpose found her vehicle with her inside it in about 14 feet of water. And the investigation continues. I'm sure we will find other facts, other circumstances. But one of the things we learned from this, I think, is that uh, Angela Eng, if she was in the water all this time, would they still do a toxicology? Asking for a friend. Yes, Angie, they would. They would still do a toxicology because I think in this case that's very important. See if we can determine blood alcohol level and see if we can determine if in fact there was any drugs involved in this death. In addition, Angie, as I had said earlier, I know you just came on, is that the Honda CRV is a crime scene, and in essence, so is her body because she will get autopsied, and they will find a cause of death, and they will do the toxicology. And I think everyone that's followed this case wants that. I think her family will want that. Uh, just horrendous, guys. You know, what can I say? Boston J. Bill Cannon, God bless. Thank you, Boston J. After all, Willez Pony is always so generous. Yes, she is. Thank God. Thank you so much. Uh, Tracy Baldwin, I bought that glass breaker. I wonder how it will work if underwater, though. It'll work underwater. It'll work underwater. Uh, Mythbusters went underwater. Uh, Truth exposed masculinity because when the shit hits the fan, nobody runs to a beta male. Uh, Brenda Cruteau, it's very hard to break a window with your hands, but you can kick it out. But water pressure makes it hard. Water must be murky and really hard to see. Yeah. Uh, Paul Ward, it appears that there was no brake marks. Paul, I don't know where you're getting that from, but that would indicate that she didn't know where the hell she was on the road, you know. And that's a very Angela Eng, have to wait till the car fills up with water before you can open the door. Well, that what Angie's referring to is, and I saw them do that test on several TV shows, is once your car fills up with water and actually water goes over your head, the pressure on the outside of the car equals the pressure on the inside. And at that point, you'll be able to open the door of your car. But who the heck could wait till the water went over their head and then now they're holding their breath, they can't breathe, and then they try to open the door? I don't think there's many people that wouldn't panic at that point, you know? Yeah, crazy. Uh, Janie J, that was what I was just talking about. That once the car fills up with water, once the water on the inside equals the water on the outside and the pressure equalizes itself, you'll be able to open the door. But who wants to wait for that? You know, okie dokie. It's really hard to get out of a sinking car. 3 minutes tops. I can tell you a secret if you promise not to tell. If you take a spark plug and crack it into pieces, the little piece thrown works. I'm not sure what you mean by that, okie dokie. Princess Mitch, I bought one of those tools a while back after Duty Run talked about it. Bought it on Amazon. AWP started out with Jared, Sam, and Dan. Those three made AWP what they are today. Then there was a request from Sam and Jared. Dropped him. Jared had been using Sam's likeness to make money. I don't want anyone to talk bad about Adventures with Purpose. Right now, they're the heroes. Right now, they are the reason that Kiely's car was recovered, Kiely's body was recovered, and let's give them at least 24 hours of being heroes. And that's what they are, you know. Uh, just tremendous job. Rinda, families request Adventures with Purpose all the time. They don't need to be asked by the police, but they do notify them when they are searching for someone. They say that in their videos. Adventures with Purpose pull car out with body inside because it's a crime scene. Paul Ward, I think they would actually wait for the police to get there and have the police do that because they don't want to be accused of doing the police's job. I think that the police probably would want to see the crime scene in its original condition, the car submerged. There's no chance she's alive. So they would want to see the crime scene in its original condition. So a police diver, I think, would want to go down there and take a look at it, you know. So that's, I think that's probably what would happen. You know, folks, I didn't want to go past, I didn't even realize I was going to go past an hour, but here I am. I went to an hour. This was a very somber occasion, you know. I've been covering this case since the beginning. I've watched it, you know, the good parts, the bad parts, the investigative turns that it's taken. I've watched and listened to a lot of the nonsense on YouTube that people just spread, total garbage. Well, Duty Ron calls it noise. That's what it is. It's noise. And you're never going to hear any noise from me. I just go with facts. We're not trying to be sensational. We're not making stuff up to make it sensational. You know, it is what it is. And we'll tell you what the investigation's going to be. Willis Pony, I love that the Supreme Commander thing. I love it. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Connie Boosie, all my kids and grandkids got this tool for Christmas as a stocking stuffer for me, just in case. Hope they never have to use it. But escape route if they ever do need it. Emily Joe Blow, we all can do God's work daily, maybe on a smaller scale, but looking out for each other, strangers or not, would make a huge difference. God bless all these people doing this amazing work. So, guys, I'll probably pick up on this tomorrow. As soon as I heard about them recovering the car and the body, I got right on the air. Thank all you guys for coming and listening. I hope that Boston J, thank you so much, Bill. Support and love sent back to your great channel from the Calandra family. We love your support. God first. Thank you so much, Boston J. You're the man. Appreciate it. Mariposa Azul, thank you so much for a $4.99 super chat. Very much appreciated, guys. And as I said, all you folks that this is the first time you've been on this channel, just hit the subscribe button. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. We'd love to have you aboard. And we'd love to have you. Tony D, a new member. Tony D, welcome aboard. Welcome to the Police Off the Cuff YouTube Real Crime channel. And we appreciate all you guys. Connie Boosie, I think you could probably go on Adventures with Purpose's website, and there's probably a button to contribute to them. Guys, I just want to thank everyone. Thank you so much. It's been, you know, it's always a tough thing. You know, these cases, unlike when I was on the police department, you think they don't, if I could send you over if I knew how to do that. I'm not that talented at doing the switch, but you guys know Duty Ron's channel, Duty Ron, Crime Time with Duty Ron. Follow him over there. Apparently he's going live in 3 minutes. Joshua, my engineer, he's gonna redirect you to Duty Ron's channel. So he's doing it for me. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. God bless. And we'll cover this. We'll be back on this tomorrow. And I'm sure there's gonna be JPL, Jay the Stelladoro, Ciao Bello, Sergeant Bill. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. God bless the Rodney family, and I'll see you guys soon. Have a great night.
One episode just ain't enough.